Car launch disasters, double-sided liveries, political pressure over engine regulations. Now, finally, we have cars on track officially. Bahrain testing is underway today. Welcome back to Green Flag Racing. Today we're mixing preview with reality, what dominated headlines coming into Bahrain, and what we're watching out for this week. We have to dive into the one story that's dominated paddock headlines the last week or so, and that is Mercedes rivals continue to lobby the FIA against Mercedes' alleged compression ratio advantage. Most recently, rival manufacturers are lobbying the FIA to change their testing protocols for this compression ratio. Currently, the test is done on a cold engine while the car is not running, and rival manufacturers are looking for that test to be changed to be run on a hot engine while the car is running. This is allegedly when Mercedes is able to unlock this 18-to-1 compression ratio. They currently pass all scrutineering testing on the cold engine test. James Vowles, Williams team principal, Mercedes engine customer, had a couple comments on this today in Bahrain. He said, "This is not a balance of performance series. Meritocracy is the best engineering outcome gets rewarded." And he also pointed out that 8 cars would be impacted. So this stretches far beyond just the Mercedes works team. And here we are again with the FIA at odds with their own regulations. Do they kill innovation? Because right now it is innovation. It's not cheating because they passed the testing that's in the regulations. So do they kill innovation or do they allow it to continue? And these other engine manufacturers are more than likely going to have to develop to that spec. We will see, but it sounds like the FIA is hard on having a decision made prior to round 1 in Australia. If I had to bet, I think they're going to eliminate this loophole that Mercedes has found. But let's dive into some day 1 news and notes. Most notably, we have to acknowledge Red Bull and Red Bull powertrains because Toto Wolff is sure impressed by what they did today. Toto Wolff had some comments on Red Bull in particular. He said they are the benchmark of the grid. They're able to deploy far more energy on the straights, and they are over a second per lap faster on multiple laps straight than what Mercedes is able to do right now. So some scathing comments from Toto Wolff on the current state of Red Bull and Red Bull powertrains. And this engine continues to make waves across the paddock and impress people. I also watched in particular today the low mileage runners from Barcelona. Most notably, Williams is really making up for lost time. They had over 100 laps on the day as of recording. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon making up for lost time, like I said. Aston Martin, on the other hand, going the exact opposite direction. 33 laps this morning. As of recording, they had not made it back out in the afternoon session. Lance Stroll was in the car this morning. I did want to throw these Audi side pods up here. This was really interesting. This brought me back to 2022 levels of in the weeds, because that ground effect era when things came in, you had Ferrari showing up with their deep, concave, sweeping side pods. You had Mercedes with the zero pods. Red Bull always had aggressive side pods at the start of that era. And so I wonder how much of that we're going to see coming into this new regulations, which is kind of the nitty gritty that we love about Formula One. But yeah, these side pods are super interesting. I want to see if there's some comments on the necessity of why they are the way they are. And beyond that, the other big names or big teams, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, no major alarm bells. This is a good sign. McLaren had some good afternoon running, and Mercedes, their biggest alarm bell was Red Bull. So, and red flags, Franco Colapinto and Nico Hülkenberg brought out a couple red flags. That was the extent. Overall, a pretty quiet day as a whole. Bahrain continues to and will be so different than Barcelona. Hotter conditions and more stress testing being done on these cars in general. Barcelona was turning the car on. Bahrain is race simulations, and we're going to start to see some gaps forming. And that brings me to what I'm going to be watching next over the next 2 days and next week as well in Bahrain. And that's energy deployment consistencies. Toto Wolff addressed it when he talked about Red Bull and the way they're deploying their energy down the straight. But where are these drivers recharging as well? What section of the Bahrain track in particular? I'm really interested to see what a lap looks like in terms of their deployment and recharging. Barcelona limited runners. I want to continue to keep an eye on Williams and Aston. Aston in particular, it's becoming worrisome a little bit. You even heard Adrian Newey's comments this week about how they were 4 months behind in starting development and a couple other notes, but nothing coming out of that team right now sounds confident or sounds like they're in a good place overall. Does the FIA speak publicly on their engine controversy this week? A lot of politicking is going on behind the scenes with rival manufacturers and Mercedes. Does the FIA address this in the media this week? I doubt they will, but I'd love to hear from them directly. That would be great. And then who shows their true comfort level? Is Max Verstappen and Red Bull super comfortable right now, or are they simply stress testing the car to see when it's going to blow? Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, what do we hear more from them throughout the week? What do they do more on track? How many miles are they putting in? So I'm really interested to see that. I'll throw the remaining Bahrain testing schedule up here for the next 2 days. I will have short recaps coming after testing each of those 2 days and what actually matters from Bahrain. But for now, that's going to be it for us here at Green Flag Racing. Please like and subscribe.